Okay, so I'm just gonna let people know what we're doing, and then if you're ready to go after that, we can get started. Yeah. Okay, cool guys. So welcome in everyone. Today we are doing the Venom hand history review with my coach Robert from SVpoker. If you guys are interested in checking out SVpoker, just type !staking in the chat or visit the website available here. If you're not sure yet, well, just wait till we're half an hour, 2 hours in. You'll probably want to check it out then. We're also going to run a keyword giveaway throughout the stream for some tourney bucks on ACR. If you want to enter that, just type !staking. And if you guys have questions throughout, you can just tag me in the chat, and we'll get the expert insights from Robert. And Robert, would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers, to the community? Tell them a bit, how long you've been working with SV, how long you've been playing, what limits you play, stuff like that.
Yes. Thank you for the host. My name is Robert. I have a nickname. Usually everybody knows from my nickname Threadson. I play poker from professionally last 5 years, I think so. Yeah, maybe 6. But I was starting playing poker when I was 12. I was playing in school with my friends and for play money and something like that. But that was always first I come up with poker when I was 12 years old, and actually that was a very funny story that I from the start I know that will be a very great hobby for me to play cards and just to have some fun, because usually not all games you can play just for fun or on the money, something like that, and there's some mathematical things you can do, psychological things. So for me it was all three things together, so it was ideal for me. But yeah, last 4 years I'm with the stable SVpoker, and there I'm working as a trainer last 2.5 years, and I was starting average buying $5 to $3, and was moving up in the stakes very fast, very rapidly. And in last last year I'm playing average buying 80 and 100.
Nice.
So yeah, but so in some exclusions I playing some higher buy-ins and even the Venoms that our stables are giving for our best players. So I was very happy to take a chance and play Venoms too, so in ACR. So yeah, and actually I have a very funny story I was trying to tell our viewers, that I watched your stream. It was first thing to learn, and I was typing in a YouTube chat or something like that, how to learn in poker or something like that.
Yeah.
And the first thing that popped up was your coaching streams.
Yeah.
So it's actually very funny now that the first thing how I learned the poker is from your streams, and now we are here.
Yeah. Now you're going to teach me how to be a better player.
No, I mean, it's all you can. I don't say as teach, but you can always learn from other players.
Yeah.
And even if you're playing lower limits, or you're playing different tournaments, you can always learn from every player. I mean, that's always my mindset, because there's no such thing as I mean, I don't like the toxic environments. I mean, even in our groups or our chats, Russian speaking guys, they usually are very toxic in these kind of environments. I know the English speaking people are more cool, relaxed, they're not so much they're not so much mean to each other when they're playing or playing bad hands. So yeah, so that's and in a stable I was very progressing very rapidly. So if you want to go in stables and teach some poker, for me, maybe, because I make coaching sessions there once a month.
Yeah.
So you can, if you join the SV team, so you'll learn once a month from me and my coaching sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And did you say it took you about 2-3 years to go from the 5s to the 80s? Was that about the time period?
Yeah. Yes. And the last 1.5 year, I had a very troubling things in my games, so I cannot play. I was not playing enough. There was no problem with the learning curve. There was problem with just the volume, just to play more. And now I'm trying to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm studying a lot, I'm teaching a lot, but the volume sometimes is a little bit off. But the results are still great. That samples I have, and I'm happy to go and play even much higher. And the stable gives me that opportunity, of course.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess let's kick it off with some hands. I guess you're gonna be mainly driving the bus here, and then
Yeah, yeah. I will try
some.
to ask some questions. Maybe some chats have some questions about the hands, or maybe some situations. Maybe you can read some chats and you have some questions you want to like
Yeah.
openly discuss, so we can do that. So it's no problem. And if I talk too much or I start to getting on your nerves, you just tell me, because sometimes I can go off and just rant like in 20, 30 minutes. So
Okay.
you can cut me off and ask maybe some question or something like that. There is no problem with that.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I'll try
Yeah.
my best to remember why I did what I did.
Yeah, that's I actually watch all your hands. I
Yeah.
think it's a day two now, yeah? So it's like it's like first day you played, but only see the hands you played on day two, yeah? As I see. These are kind of hands. Whereas because the blinds are now like 11,000 and 22,000. Do you remember when the bubble started? Or you are in the money in this stage? In the tournament?
Yeah. We're definitely on the bubble. I can go back to the VOD from the stream, I think, and see exactly
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
when it is, as long as that one's still there. Oh, the hand history I give you only have day two.
Yeah, yeah, but no, it's no problem because in the 2 hours it's enough hands that we can discuss. I will try to explain the big differences with the PKO structures, with
Okay.
the freeze outs, how they play differently, the mystery bounties. So it will be more like the open training session, not just only hands and hand selections and what we did. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So just to start day two, there are like 750 people or so, and 460 paid.
Oh,
So is that,
understood, understood.
yeah.
So yes, let me give me. Okay. Uh, so sounds good. First of all, what as you explained me earlier, that you are playing a little bit on the tighter side
Yep.
this tournament because the stakes are really high. I mean the first place is huge, and it's very important to get in ITM zone when you play like these kind of tournaments. So I understand that some kind of plays are made because of that. And I was seeing some kind of opens you were missing or some
Yep.
kind of situations. But usually, what my first goal is that new meta in or new play style in 2025 is very aggressive. I mean, the freeze out tournaments. I mean, you can play a little bit passive, but still, all the newest meta is to play very aggressive. All the situations, all the opens are very crazy. People are bluffing left, right, and center, and now today's meta is very very different. Like when it was like 5 years ago or maybe 7 years ago, because all the guys was playing like 25 to 18,
Yeah.
PIP and PVR, but now it's like 30 to 22, and it's like new because of PKO tournaments. You want to hunt the bounties, you want to play more aggressively. So yeah, and that's why you have to like change your playing style. So freeze outs usually people have to play like 26 to 18. The PKO formats you have to play like 30 to 22. So and six max is like 40 to 25. I mean it's very crazy. So sometimes people are underestimating or overestimating their aggression or the passiveness in these kind of situations. So yeah, the first hand ace jack, you open up, the early position open up,
Yeah.
and we defend it. We get to c bet. I mean, you can sometimes check raise here, but I mean, it's all can always go both ways.
Yeah.
Against the late positions, you try to more check raise because you have to protect your hand more and the ranges are wider. Against early position, the call is fine. So yeah, and the c-bet turn. It's actually I was actually want to try to ask you a question. What's your thought process in these kind of situations?
Yeah. So first I'm thinking he's opening like a fairly narrow range from early position. So while we like have connected with the flop like pretty well, there's still gonna be some hands that he's got us in like rough shape with, whatever. And then I thought once the king connected that now there wasn't too much in the range that I was beating. Like I guess I beat ace 10, ace queen, tens if he's bluffing with that. And other than that, most of the hands have improved to now beat me. Maybe queen 9 suited as well as one of the ones that we beat, 9-10 suited. And I also assume, could be incorrect, that when the turn comes off that's like a better card for their range than it is for my range, and they're coming from under the gun, that usually they're going to be following through. So I assume I'm not just facing a 6 big blind bet on the turn, but I'm also going to face a big one on the river, and I just don't really want to call 2 more streets when most of the hands in his range probably has me in rough shape.
Yeah, sounds good. I think the key difference is actually that some people are playing much wider, some are a little bit or passive side, and usually in these kinds of situations you have to understand which combos or which hands you want to call even more. I mean, the ace jack, I think it's a little bit worse to call here. If we like go and want to pick up the best hands to call, because I think the jack 10 or queen jack even are here is much better because we block a lot more straights that he had. I mean, the queen 10 offset, I don't think he's opening enough, so it's only 4 combos of suited straights that he have. But still, the king is very bad for your range because, I mean, as you said, the king favors his range when you open the through MTT. So, I mean, it's a discipline fold. I usually prefer this kind of situations I play against, again, who I'm playing against. If it's a guy who is a little bit passive, I think I like the fold. But the guy is from Russia or he's a Brazilian guy, usually I will flick the call and reevaluate the river because not all the rivers he can, I mean, barrel you, but still there's a lot of bluffs. He can bluff all the 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, ace 10, all the suited combos with the ace of hearts. So I mean, there is some hands that you cannot beat, but there's still some bluffs, and we only have to like call like 6 blinds to win like how much? It's 16, 22. So not all the rivers you're gonna bet. And when we get like a pair jack or pair 9, we can actually donk the river. So we have some opportunities not to just like play from the defense, but we have some donks on the rivers too. So we can donk the jack, we can donk the 9, we can, I mean, we can even donk the river with the 10% size. And actually, that's a cool line to do in these kind of situations because his jack X hands don't bet so much on the turn.
Yeah.
So he's some kind of capped, but still he has some full houses, some straights, but still, yeah, he's very capped on when jack or 9 pairs. So yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Next hand, ace 9, cool opening. I mean, these kind of boards, what's your thought process when you do like to see bet these kind of boards, when you don't like to see bet these kind of boards?
I'll be betting. Honestly, in this spot, I'm probably betting most of my range that has not connected, and I'm gonna be checking with like the medium strength aces. I'm probably checking most of these actually. I'm probably betting my queens and everything else, and just checking my aces.
Okay.
In this spot.
Usually you can just don't balance it and just bet all your range, and you usually can use just one size like 120%, like, and that's enough. That's it. Because I mean they cannot check raise you enough. I mean, first of all, the population are not check raising enough these kind of boards because you have to check raise like 4, 5, deuces, 3s, 4s, some jack 10s. You have to check raise. People usually against the strong range against the UTG Open, they don't like to check raise enough. So you can just like bet it strongly here, like 1.2, 1.5, and reevaluate on the turn because you like bet 1.1 blind or even 1.5 blind, and you can get 2 cards freely. Then that's easy part. I mean, and you are not capped on the Queen X hands. You are because all your Queen X hands you are betting too. So yeah, you can like. Of course, you don't have a 3 streets value against these kind of type of boards. But still, 2 streets value you can maybe find. Bet on
Yeah.
the flop on check turn on bet river, or bet flop, bet turn small. So you have some two streets of value because there is some ace X hands, king jack, king 10, jack 10 hands. All the pockets call you c bet flop. So there is, and we check call. And yeah, we can just check it back because there's no
Yeah.
value on the river.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we get him. We got him.
We got him. Yeah.
Actually, it will be a very tough decision if he bets the river. I mean,
Definitely. You know, it usually is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I will not be a very happy camper if I see the c-bet. And here, actually, it's a very good example to about your thought process. What do you think about the fives in these kind of spots?
I think here I just play. I always assume people are gonna barrel me way more than they are, and I don't like to like get stubborn over multiple streets. So I think I probably
Mm-hmm.
just folded this right away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can fold it, but actually there's some third option. You cannot only just call or fold. You can actually raise here. And
Interesting.
it's, yeah, yeah. I mean, I will show you the GTO wizard. I will not sure if the will show that in GPV situations, but I will try to show it.
Oh, because this is that bottom of the range that we can raise for like clearance, right? If we want to knock out like the over cards that have some equity, this is
Yes,
the kind of
yes,
hand we can get protection with by raising.
yes,
Okay.
yes, of course, because we need protection. There's a lot of hands like King Jack, Ace 10,
Yeah.
all these kind of hands, and as you can see, early position can see, but these kind of boards because the far your opponent,
Yeah.
like UTG against button, the more you can see, but these kind of boards. I mean, for example, if we okay, let's make it this spot. And what kind of hands he wants to raise? As you can see, sometimes he raises fives here or sixes because he needs some protection in these kind of situations. And you can raise actually the queens. So
Yep.
if you don't feel like you're comfortable with the check call or calling in the position, you can sometimes even raise. And as you can see, the 50% of the time his range is he's raising in the position. And usually people are not good enough in these kind of situations. So you can raise like 5.5, and there, he has a very tough time with all these kind of hands like Jack 10, who is c-betting, Ace 5, Ace 4, even like 10-9 suited. And I mean, these kind of hands, he has like 20% equity against your hand, or 25%. So if you can get rid of that equity, that's good news for us.
And
So yeah.
just checking
Yeah.
the GTO wizard. If we do that raise size, which hands does he get to like pure fold, and which hands does he?
All the spades he folds, all the offsuited combos he folds, but he's very sticky. I mean, I usually how I work with the GTO wizard. Let me start with that. I think because the biggest problem I see that all the players what they do with the GTO wizards, they're playing. You are playing against machine. It's a tool. It's just a tool. It's like a calculator. You just like divide or you minus some things, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, that's just a calculator. You can use it right way or on the wrong way. Usually, people use it on the wrong way. So you have to be very careful. You have to be friends who are good at solving things or like using the RC, the
Yeah.
GTO wizards. They know how the machine works and something like that. Because usually, I see the people are playing with the freeze out ranges. Playing like 90% of PKOs. So you can just you just can read it on. But yeah, here in this special thing is that we are playing only on chips.
Yeah.
So we have some ICM applications, but we don't have some PKO applications. So for us, we are playing just to gain chips. That's it. But yeah, as you can see, he's a very sticky customer. He's not folding ace king. He's three betting you like 30% time, which will not happen anytime soon. And I actually can show you some solutions because the wizard has actually built up solver. I mean AI solver. So we can just solve it now. If we get the c-bet like this, we raise like 23% of the time, and we get bet 3-bet like not, I will say, 1 second, 40%, no, 35. Let's make it 35. So it will raise up like 23%. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
But now we're gonna lock it up. So we'll say he's bet 3-betting you like, I don't know, maybe 10%, 12%. Usually that's the kind of ranges that people gonna bet 3-bet you. But okay, let's make it like he's a very aggressive guy. He's make 10%.
Yeah.
So okay. So if we get like bet 3-bet 10% of the time, we can raise it, raise it easy. We have like half the range. We can just raise it because I mean not half the range, but 30%. That's the way how the solve works. If we get the less raises in all the streets, we can just pump it up the aggression. That's why all the stables, all the Brazilians, all the Russian guys playing super aggressive, because you don't the average field sizes, average field doesn't check raise you enough, doesn't play aggressive against you, and don't push the envelope. So machine is very like tricky in these situations. They know when to 3-bet, when to check raise you, when to lead some kind of situations on the turn. They're perfect. They are machines. They're like,
Yeah.
But we people, we are not so perfect. We are like a little bit like dumber.
Yeah.
So we have to like understand what, not how machine plays, but how machine thinks in these kind of situations.
Yeah,
That's the main point.
And like how machine counters. Like what we're seeing here is that when the initial aggressor doesn't play back enough, that the hero gets to play more aggressive because we're gonna get more showdowns. We're gonna protect our equity more. They just like, if the opponent's not playing back, then you might as well do the thing that gives you control of the action more, because then they're gonna kind of let you drive it from there. Okay.
And the same thing goes with the folds. I mean, we can just lock it up that he folds a little bit more, like 25% of the time.
Yeah.
Not like he's not floating with you ace-7 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Let's make it like a little bit realistic here. He's like 30% folding. I mean, he's gonna go crazy. So that's how it works, the solver. I mean, that's only one hand, but I want to try to show the example how the machine thinks in these kind of situations.
Okay,
he's just crazy. He's calling even lighter now, and he's raising still the same range. So the fives you can just raise and can call, and plus is like 100. How much? Yeah, it's 130 big blinds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that it's close to the money, but I would call one or raise one. Doesn't matter, but I will choose one of the two options. The third option, fold, I will not play.
Yeah,
if I fold these kind of boards with the fives, I will just fold pre-flop. That's my go. But understand the pressure, because the bubble factor is coming up, and you have.
And we're way high in the buy-in range, and also I think the chat has about 50% of the action. Like I sell shares to them, so they get a sweat. So I also like really want to cash for them. Like maybe it means I don't go for the win as much, but when we do these Venoms and when they have a good piece of the action, I always try really hard to both make the sweat last as long as possible and try to get them in the money, because it's really nice for them to get a return on the investment, even if it's not on the huge side. So as a default, I play kind of tight anyway, but then also with the viewers having some action and it being on stream, I'm also like thinking of the stream equity of like, it's much better for me if the stream lasts 10 hours than if it lasts 1 hour, which could be to my detriment for tournaments and winning tournaments, but that's the other factor that is in play, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm very glad that you show. I mean, I didn't know that you were showing 50%. I mean, oh my God, that's actually I think huge sweat for chat.
I think the biggest buyers usually take 4%. A lot of people take 1%. And, it's just a fun thing, because we play the Venom when it comes around, but it's obviously way high in my buy-in range, like way above it. So that way it makes it a bit more accessible, and it just makes it fun. It gets everyone excited. So like everyone's really happy with the result here, even though, we'll see there are definitely some spots I skipped out on.
Yeah. But I mean, it's very cool. I mean, yeah. Now I a little bit understand now all the situation. Usually, I mean, these kind of problems, because now I can see, as you can see, the ace-9 open we missed. I mean, there will be a lot of situations that I marked, but I don't want to like jump on some discussions in these kind of situations. I mean, you have to be a little bit, aggressive. But as you said, you're a little bit on the passive side because of the action, because of the buy-in, and so I perfectly understand why you don't want to open ace-9 offsuit from the hijack.
Yeah, I'm still a little surprised though. The big blind here only has 6 blinds.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I always assume that, especially in these Venoms, the reason why I skip a lot of the early positions opens too is because I feel like with deeper stacks, people are going to flat more, 3-bet more, and I just get lost post-flop. So I just don't open myself up to those situations. But still kind of surprised we didn't know that I didn't open this one. That one seems...
Yeah, you can just open 2.5 so he cannot like stop and go.
Yeah.
Use some stop and go strategy. But yeah, 2.5 you can just open up. And actually this kind of hands you can 4-bet.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to double check.
It seems good. It's on the low end of the offsuit aces, but it's got the ace blocker.
Yeah. Because usually the 4-bet range calculates as the hands you are close to folding.
Yeah.
And close to calling.
Yeah.
So it's like mediocre hands. Yeah. Let's go.
Just a little bit there, 10%. Yeah.
Yeah. But we can give it a try. Ace-9, only ace-9. We can ace-10, ace-jack. I mean, these kind of hands you can 4-bet, yeah. But,
yeah. Is that the situation where the people would be like, I'm going to roll a randomizer, and if I hit 10 on a scale of 1 to 100, they take it? Is that thing?
Actually, it's a very good question. For me, I always say to my students, my guys who are teaching, I say, when you try to make the best decision, the randomizing is the 20th thing that you want to use. Sometimes I always use the situation, the tournament structure, the stack sizes, the guy who is playing aggressive.
Yeah, I like this.
The boards. And then the 20th question is, okay, all the questions are wrong, I don't know. Then maybe I can randomize. That's it.
Right, because they're going to the randomizer first, whereas you're saying like, okay, if it's a spot where the EV of 4-betting versus the EV of calling is basically the same, you'd rather say, well, does the guy 3-bet too much, in which case pure 4-bet, or does the guy 3-bet way too tight, in which case pure flat? Because if it's close, or if the EV is the same, you want to err to the side that matches the situation better rather than just throwing it to a randomizer right away.
Amen.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's the main goal, because the randomizing and all the solvers, I always say to my students that you don't need a solver or GTO wizard when you're playing tournaments for $10. I mean, that's not the case. You don't have to use it. Simple logic, simple mathematics, and you're good to go. You will be the crusher.
Yeah.
You have to just be a fast learner, as I say. And as I said, the stable give me that learning curve very fast, because what problem I had, I was student, I was studying, but and my college I was paying for my wins in the poker. So but I was playing like $2 $3 tournaments, so for me it was very hard, and learning curve was very tough for me because I didn't have any guys or any trainers that said me what to do, how to think in these kind of situations. So I was learning very, very slow. But after I get in the stable, that was like in 1.5 years, I was training the smallest guys, because I was playing like average buy-in 25, and I was learning guys who was playing $5. So for me, it was like in 1.5 years, how it can happen. So yeah,
that's cool.
It was very fun experience, and I'm very happy that I'm still with the stable. Yeah. So ace-9. Still works. Let's go back. So yeah, I mean, I would open, but I now understand a little bit why you want to sweat it. So
I'm trying to take a little less volatility to the stack, although I'm about to go against that here. I remember this one.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like this the hand selection. I mean, the only problem I have when you 3-bet in 40 big blind stacks or less, you always want to use offsuited combos.
I was gonna say, you don't like that it's suited.
Yeah, because all the suited combinations, they're more like flattening range. And as you can see, even in solver world, he likes to use it as more offsuited combos, as you can see, because all the suited combos, you just want to flat and just realize his equity. Because first of all, he has like flush draws. And all these kind of off-suited trash hands he wants to use as a blocker.
Yeah.
And some people, I mean, the solver is 3-betting 12%. I have guys in the stable who are 3-betting like 30% of the time.
Yeah.
In the big blind.
Yeah.
So you can understand when the guy is 3-betting like 20% or plus on big blind, you can just jam all the ace X hands. You can jam all these all the pockets you can jam.
Yeah.
Even you can jam king 10, king jack hands. So that's how it works. So if you see 12% range and he jams like crazy,
Yeah.
some kind of sixes, ace deuce. So you can open up. But yeah, offsuit hand I would like a little bit better. But situationally, I like the spot. I mean, we 3-bet, but we get unlucky.
And I do remember that guy was playing very aggressive out of the gate. Like he was doing a lot of opens, and we'd been playing quite tight. So I thought it was a decent spot. I also felt like stack size wise, I was mostly forcing him to like commit or fold with how shallow he was and the size I made it. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Didn't work.
yeah. So yeah, ace king, one of my favorite hands.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some chips back here.
Yeah, what do you think about the shove?
I don't mind the 30 big blind shove. I in the past I thought you couldn't shove 30, and maybe it's gonna say from the big blind you're not supposed to, but from the small blind you can. I remember there'd be times I'd go smaller, like 8 big blinds here, and then if I got flatted and couldn't bet call off post flop, I'd feel like a real idiot giving away 25% of my stack. So in some spots now with like ace king suited, or maybe like 9s 10s, where I don't necessarily want to induce, maybe this hand I could induce, I don't know, I don't mind just jamming for 30. I don't think I jam up to 40, but I thought I saw in some charts that like you can jam up to 30 with like ace king suited.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah, you can jam, but actually I usually split ace king. Offsuited ace king, I usually down with the jam, because when you jam like ace king offsuit,
Yeah.
you will get calls with ace queen. So it's not like, so the people who are calling you with ace jack, ace queen, so they cannot happily call you like any time, because usually then people jamming like 30 big blinds, usually their range is very like opened, as you can say. It's always a pockets, low pockets, because 9s plus he 3-bet calls.
Yeah.
Ace king, or ace queen,
Yeah.
some king queen, king jack maybe,
Yeah.
and that's it. So it's very open. So the people will not like snap you off with the ace jack or ace queen. Sometimes you have to a little bit trappy.
Right.
So what I do in these situations, let me double check. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think in suited ace king he's always 3-betting you. Yeah, ace king offsuit he's jamming, and mixing up ace king suited he's 3-bet calling. Yeah.
And does that extra, like, is it about that extra like 2% equity that the ace king suit has, or is it the fact like does hitting the flush draw, whatever it is, like an eighth of the time, maybe it's a quarter of the time, does hitting the flush draw that much more really make it that much better?
Yeah. He is like nitpicking in these kind of situations. He's not like, he's very smart in these kind of situations. He doesn't want to like be very predictable, so he's mixing up, like as you can see, ace queen, ace jack hands.
Yeah.
And some kind of ace king. So the guy, when you open jam, he's snapping off with you ace queen, ace jack, ace 10 even. So yeah, but I mean, again, this is cheap EV situations. So if we change a little bit, that is like 60% or near the bubble, the situation will gonna change a lot.
I would guess it's more jamming with ICM, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, there is no such kind of stacks here. Let's make it like so it's close. 30 big blinds. Okay. As you can see here, ace king still is.
That's jamming.
But still, his ace king offsuit is jamming.
Yeah.
Ace king suited is 3-betting, but yeah, ace queen, ace jack he's calling, because now it's a little bit pressure. You have a bubble factor. I mean, 1.7, it's a huge bubble factor.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's why. Let's make it that our guy is chip leader, and he's opening from hijack maybe.
Right, in which case he's going to be opening a much wider range.
Yeah. As you can see, ace king is full on, that's the usually the I always see these kind of situations that ace queen, ace king offsuit I usually jam, ace queen, ace king I usually three bet call.
Okay.
So for me it's like that's how I balance it. And you can balance, and as you can see the pockets are not jamming, ace deuce, ace three only. So yeah, but that's again, this is against hijack and he's opening 40% of the range. I mean, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And his bubble factor is a little bit less. So yeah, but again, it's like a little bit nitpicking. You know, it's like it's not like a mistake. It's just like for best players or the players who I'm communicating with, because I have a lot of guys who are like analyzing every day these kind of situations. They're analyzing and thinking in these kind of situations in that way, because all the margins, all the plus CV like decisions that you make,
Yeah.
they're very close.
Yeah.
So you have to be like very precise, very calculated, and you have to use like every extra EV you can get in these kind of situations. So that's why I have a little bit like these kind of problems sometimes. Because I mean, if you like explain to like the player who is like playing offline or playing live tournaments, he's just like saying ace king, okay, just jam it.
Yeah.
Who cares? Ace king offsuited or suited? What are you talking about? I mean, but there is some differences. So yeah, and we get the call. Hold it, hold it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, ace nine.
I couldn't believe it. Like the thing, what blew my mind is I am definitely running tighter stats. I'm not sure what my exact stats are, but they're definitely going to be on the tighter side. I ripped 30 blinds and this guy called me with ace nine suited. I was happy about it, but I didn't understand.
Welcome to the online poker, yeah?
Okay.
No, I mean that's the key problem. I mean, the people are how I always explain to people.
Like, did he just put me on like a small pair only, and that's why he called? He's like, oh, I think it's a flip, so I'll take the like tiny bit of pot odds I have and beat fives.
Yeah. They're thinking that you're not shoving like ace queen, ace king.
Yeah.
So and you're not shoving tens, jacks, queens. You're three bet calling them. So for him, he thinks that your range is all the suited ace x hands that
Yeah.
are lower than his, and some queens, king jacks, king tens. So I think maybe that's his thought process. I mean, they're aggressive guys. I mean, thinking that way, but there is a problem. I mean, you are playing a little bit different, so they are making I mean, because you're playing tighter, they're making such a big mistake in these situations. It's like enormous mistake, because it's like in the final tables, ICM pressure. I mean, the guy shoves open shoves 40 big blinds because the guy has to fold ace king 30 big blinds. I mean, yeah. But the guy says, no, F you, I will gonna call you. I don't care, I play for win.
Yeah.
So in this situation, that means that you shoved, I mean, he called minus CV and he made a minus CV decision. And because he made the call that he doesn't supposed to make, your shove was super minus CV. So you played actually worse than him in this situation because he called you ace king.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you have to be always careful when you open shove these kind of situations. What is calling range? How we're gonna call you? And it's always like guessing game for me because I see the fish or the guy who is not professional, and I always like ask, how is gonna call my jam? What kind of hands we're gonna call? Because the reg will call the right way. He knows the charts.
Yeah.
The fish doesn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean this hand is crazy. Yeah.
And I remember I used to get this too when I used to play cash games like, I don't know, 10 years ago when I played like 4, 600 and 1K no limit. I would just have much tighter get-in ranges than the other regulars. But since they saw me playing, you know, on the same tables as them like all day, every day, they just assumed I had the same ranges. So I'd get it in like really good because people would like call me off with nines and stuff, ace queen suited, and I just wasn't putting it in with like worse than jacks plus pre-flop, but they just assumed I had the regular reg ranges. So sometimes like they'd even get in there with sevens. I'm like, okay, like why should I play looser if they give me actually this? But stats are much more accurate these days, so it'd be harder to get away with that in modern day poker.
Yeah, there's some kind of problems. I mean, nowadays, I mean, there's so much problems with the stables. I mean, we are trying to like play honest and be not like
Yeah.
some crazy guys. I'll not drop the names, but
Yeah.
there is a lot of problems with the collusions, the ghosting,
Yeah.
and I mean, you have to be always. I mean, I'll not. If you have some friends in the chat, don't be, don't be like very offended. But sometimes when I see Brazilian guys who are playing very nitty all the tournament, and in the final table they start three betting you, four betting you all the time.
Doesn't make
I'm not
sense.
allegedly, yeah, allegedly there's something off
Yeah.
there. So yeah, but so you have to be like careful in these kind of situations too. So you're
So
playing against one opponent, yeah.
yeah, you just kind of have to be really. I remember Patrick, IR Egyptian. He made a final table of a big Sunday million, and he's like, "Wow, this guy who I got heads up with must be the best Brazilian $5 ABI player I've ever seen in my entire life." And the whole final table was just like, "It's not him. It's not it. Whatever." And I guess you just have to you can't. Just as soon as the play style starts to get a lot more aggressive, you have to throw whatever like shark scope stats you have on the guy and just kind of say, okay, how has he played the last couple orbits? That's what I'm playing against. That's the style I'm playing against, and adjust accordingly, right? That's kind of all you can do.
100% right. Yeah, I usually that's why I don't like to watch so many stats. I like to use him in GPV situations when I
Yeah.
see the guy who is playing tighter side or aggressive side, because in GPV situations they're usually playing like that.
Yeah.
But in the final tables, 2 tables, 3 tables, you can just throw it out in the window, the stats, because somebody is maybe drunk, somebody is playing with his friend, allegedly. Somebody is playing, I don't know, different styles, so you have to be very careful. Because I know a lot of players actually that play in one style when the GPV situations, or playing like 16 tables. But then when they have a deep run, they like playing 1-2 tables, they can like full focus and play like their best. So you have to like be very, very careful. Usually people in the late stages play more focused, a little bit nittier, but as the same, using more 3-bets and less cold calls. And actually they're right, because you have to more 3-bet and less cold call.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have now a very big stack, and now we're gonna 3-bet his ass.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What?
We're gonna... Yeah, I had a little bit question. I mean, you can, maybe it's a bubble situation. I don't know how much.
Yeah, what's... Are you able to switch it to chips for a second?
Yeah, I can do it. I mean, let's make it.
Or if you can get the chip count from the hand history, I can kind of...
Yeah, I can do it. It's we have a
1.4 million?
1.4 million.
Okay. We got the double, so I guess it's like around here. I mean, I think we're probably still about 100 away from the money. So like probably about 550 left, 460 paid. Yeah, I'm pretty confused. But yep.
Yeah. I mean, the chat is actually crazy.
Yeah.
Redson Beast, let's fucking go. Stretch Loves from SVpoker. Actually, that's our friends from our Latvian streaming company that usually I stream there 2 times in a month.
Okay.
And we discuss some strategies. So yeah, the guys actually found it out, I think. So
Nice.
now we're tuning in for us. So much love. So yeah, I mean, on the bubble, actually, with the Jackson 10s, I like to call here. So Queens is not like far off here. I mean, let me show you, for example. We are in out of position. We are not covering the guy who is opening up.
Yeah.
So we have a very huge bubble factor against him.
Yeah.
So the queens actually are not 3-betting, you see. I want to say that jacks of 10s, I don't like to 3-bet here, because what you're gonna do when you get the 4-bet, you have to like decide, you have to go with it, you don't want to go with it because you want to flip with ace king. I mean, there's all kind of questions. So with queens, actually, if it's like a soft bubble or close to bubble, it's okay to 3-bet. Well, I mean to call. So yeah, as you can see, if it's like, how much we have bubble factor? I think it's more like 2. Should be 2, yeah. Oh no, 1.7. It makes sense, yeah. So yeah, and the size is actually very huge in these kind of situations. As you can see, 2-12. He's
That
very
makes
going polar.
sense. You want to give very, very bad odds so
Polar.
they continue
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah. You use the polar sizes because your range is very polar. You're not like three betting very happy in these kind of situations
Yeah.
because you have very huge bubble factors. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, sounds good. Win call one,
And that's probably it.
and that's all she wrote. We can actually block bet here, like bet like
One
one big
big?
blind or maybe
Yeah.
two big blinds. But I don't think so. We can bet a lot more here.
Yeah.
9 big blinds. It's very puke spot. I'll call him
Yeah.
because it's very polar here. He's like repping some ace x hands, but if I have to go so big with the ace x because your calling range is mainly pockets, so something fishy. I smell something fishy in his line because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Why
Yeah.
you want to bet so big when you want to charge the only pocket? I mean, only pockets you can value bet here.
Yeah.
Ace x hands to split, and all the pockets can call or fold. So why you have to bet so much? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Tin
Yeah.
can 17.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, you can go both ways. I mean, usually the people when use these kind of sizes usually are not heavy, so I don't mind folding. So yeah, deuces. I mean, the same story goes here. I mean, now I have a little. I was marking these hands without this information that you have a sweat and this pre-bubble situation.
Yeah.
So when we have a deuce of hearts, usually he wants to call here. Without a deuce hearts, it will be a lesser call. I will show you in a second.
Yeah. I'm definitely trying to like really preserve the chips this close to, because the other thing was, I mean, this shouldn't matter. Strategically, it shouldn't matter, but as humans, emotionally matters. We had never cashed the regular Venom. I've cashed the PKO a couple times, but we had never cashed the regular. So I'm like, we got to cash this one. Like, this is it. I told my girlfriend I'd like buy her a bike if we cashed it. So there were like these extra like storylines going, and I'm like, we got to get in the money, guys. And a lot of the investors are just like, dude, as long as I like double my investment, I'm happy, man. Just get in there. So not the typical backers.
I understand. No, it's actually very cool. Actually, I had the backers too, and I had the same story. But I mean, maybe later if we have a time,
Yeah.
I will tell the story. But yeah, let's make it the sizes. Usually he will use the smaller sizes, of course. Yeah, he's just betting range. he's saying like,
Of course, yeah.
we're gonna bet range, and this is, as you can see, with a heart it's 0.7, without a heart it's 0.6, so it's always a little bit less equity. So that's why that's how I usually decide what kind of hands I want to call if I have a backdoors, because I mean it all adds up always, because when you play like one table, I mean doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
when you play like 600 tournaments in a month and
Yeah.
like play like 5k tournaments in a year,
Yeah.
it all adds up. All
Yeah.
these kind of differences, all these small edges. Because in offline or live tournaments, you can play like how many tournaments you can play? 350 days. You're playing like 5 tournaments a week.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe 300 tournaments you're playing a year. I mean, that's half the month the distance you can make in the online. So you can understand how lucky can you be or unlucky you can be in a half in a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sixes. Yeah, now it will be the stage where I mean, all these kind of hands are just missed opens. So I don't think we're gonna discuss a lot of these kind of situations. But yeah, sixes, it's a borderline. Now I like to fold here, yeah, because of the bubble situation.
There's a king queen at some point. That's the one that I think is more blatantly a missed open, but we'll see.
Yeah. And now, actually, you remember the king deuce suited hand with 3-bet?
Yeah.
This hand, I like it more.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we can just go like very polar. We can use like size like 12 big blinds, and we get the call. We don't have to like c-bet a lot in kind of situations because the range is very narrow from his perspective. So you don't have to like be very like afraid to go in the post flop. The first hole, the post flop will be only half of the time. Like, so 40% or 50% time he gonna fold.
Yeah.
20% of the time maybe, or 50% time he gonna forward jam you.
Yeah.
So usually like 1/3, maybe 1/3 of the time he will get the post flop. So it's not like a worse situation can be here. So usually what I do in these kind of boards when I 3-bet, people always make mistakes. Let me find the situation right.
Yeah, because there's the fear of if my 3-bet gets called, I'm gonna spew chips unnecessarily post flop because I don't know which boards to bet and which ones to just shut down on. So
Yeah. Why it's so? No. So many different sizes, huh?
yeah, it's crazy. So 12.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not using these kind of sizes. I don't know why they're coming here, but yeah, it's very spooky.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, after we like, as you can see, he's just folding 70% of the time.
Yep.
60%. So
makes sense.
yeah, you get like post flop like 20% of the time maximum, maybe. Maybe these kind of hands he's not gonna jam, he's gonna call.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like 20% time I'm gonna get the post flop. And when they actually get the post flop, there is some very cool lines. I mean, the sizes you can use is beyond. I mean, the first of all, this my favorite board is like Jack 10-5. I mean, in these kind of boards, you just can open rip it 1-point X spot, so it's no problem. You can just rip it with the ace king, ace queen, and say c'est la vie.
That makes sense. You got what? You have about a pot size bet.
Yeah.
And with the gut shot and the overs, your equity's like pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's just tons of folds.
But in ace 7 deuce, you can use just one size, 10%.
Really small, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just all-inning some hands, but if I make him do some another sizes, like 20%,
yeah,
he's gonna go crazy. He's gonna bet his range, I think, with the 10%. Oh no, he's checking some hands. But as you can see, the most popular size after 1/3 is 10%.
Yep.
So you can actually bluff 3 streets when SPR is 1 on the flop. So usually that's my thing when I play 4-bet pots and you get SPR 1, or 3-bet pots and you get SPR 1. Yeah. Usually you can just bet 10% flop, 10% turn, and all in the river. And you get all the maximum fold equity on the river. So the guy, if he's like a little bit aggressive, or he likes to fast play his value, he's gonna show it to you on the flop on the turn. Yeah. So for us, it's a little bit like information. We like just pick, like betting 10%, and he's gonna fold like, I mean, he's not folding anything, of course, because his range is super narrow. As you can see, he's not folding anything. I mean, let's call. Let's make it now a deuce.
You're against that type of player. You're basically capping his range because he never raised. Yeah. So therefore he only has folding hands on the river, and you've extracted like half of their stack before you make them fold.
Yeah. You just like, you are value betting before the river, and as you can see on the turn, he's just like c-betting 10% again, and now he's gonna get folds like 30% time. We are betting 10% of the pot and getting folds like 30%. I mean, it's a printing money line.
Yeah.
So we have to get like 1 out of 10 time fold, but we get like 1 out of 3rd time fold. So it's like easy. So that's why he bets all this range.
Yeah.
So that's why he just like bets.
Interesting.
So okay. Ace 5 we didn't miss. 10-8 I don't like now defend because the bubble situation. All the offsuited combos always folds first.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people make mistakes on the final tables and the bubble situations. They're defending too much of the offsuited combos.
Right.
Because you have to be very narrow and have to fold a lot more these kind of hands. As you can see, yeah, he's defending here near bubble because we have a close stacks. But still, we're calling like 0, 0.5. All the suited connectors or suited hands will be much better candidates to call here. I mean, as you can see, queen deuce suited is 2 times better than 10-8 off.
Yeah.
So usually I say to my students, when you see the close spots, you can usually like get rid of these kind of low EV situations. You don't have to defend queen 4 offsuit on the bubble.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. And if you make like low jack open, yeah, against low jack, as you can see, it's like break-evenish calls. So
Yeah.
why we need it, I don't know. In GPV situation, of course, you're defending. Here is the same thing. I mean, you can Bevan Didi is actually Derek. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's maybe it's a real nickname
I
because
I forget. I think someone was saying it's not Pone Diddy, but they played quite aggressive and quite strong, and I think their shark scope was quite good. I thought it was actually him, but
yeah, because usually I see all the top regs that play on stars,
yeah.
or maybe we cannot say it. The other room.
You can say it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. The other room, they're playing with these nicknames, and other guys who wants to no troll or something like that, they use his nicknames to other sides.
Yeah.
For example, ACR.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it's not him, but in other room he's the top reg. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, you can defend. Usually I defend, but now I understand it. And actually, the same thing here. I mean, we have to only just like call 1.8 to win.
Yeah, and the big blind can't squeeze.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised that we didn't take that one.
Yeah, and we have a very like straightforward.
Was there a deuce? Was there a deuce on the flop?
Let's see.
No deuce.
Almost.
Okay. Almost. Almost both ways.
Backdoor straight draw we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he bet a lot. I mean, yeah, it's three very large size. Very interesting why he used that so large size. King Jack, the same thing. I think it's a bubble time because you're folding every hand now.
Yeah, well,
it's bubble time.
The big blind's 32,000. Let me see.
Yeah, 32,000. Yeah.
Okay, I think I can find exactly it. I mean, that kind of has
should be a bubble because King Jack is.
Yeah.
1632.
Yeah, we're like 10 off the money.
Yeah. We are folding mode now.
Yeah.
We are in folding mode. I'm not. Yeah, and ace-6, same thing. 8.
I got a call, right?
Yeah, we call. And now I understand why you didn't float the flop because of the bubble situation.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's 36, so maybe it's bubble is burst, but I don't know. I would call, if a bubble bursts, I call one off and see the turn.
Yeah.
Actually, with 4-5 here and 3-5, you can check raise here. Usually, the main candidates that people are check raising here are 5-6, 5 deuce, ace deuce, ace 5 candidates. But sometimes people forget that in a queen 3 off, queen 4-3 boards, they can check raise the third pairs too. So it actually works. Let me give you a GPU example for that instance. That's why actually I like it, the GTO Visa, because when you use the HRC or different programs, the counts so long, and here you can just do like boom, insta.
Yeah.
So
much more efficient.
Yeah. But still, yeah.
The EV sacrifice is not that big, right? Of just using the pre-solved versus doing it.
In a starting, when you're starting in the poker, 100%, because you don't have to like be nitpicking or be very precise with your calculations, because you're not playing so much like so expensive tournaments. You have to be very precise in these kind of situations. You can be like just you have to be like a little bit understanding how the machine works and how these things. And as you can see, queen 4-3, he c-bets like all of his range.
Yeah.
And you can actually check raise not only like gut shots and all these kind of hands. I mean, this is GPV situation, so not in bubble. But you can actually check raise 5-4, 4-3, and these kind of situations. So, for example, I had actually mistake like 1 year ago when I was check raising these kind of hands, because I saw that machine is check raising not only like all the lower hands, but the higher hands. But now, newest meta is that the people are not afraid of check raise spots. People are very crazy, very aggressive playing these kind of situations. Because like 5 years ago, people got a check raise like 30% time, and you get like folds like 50% of the time or half the time. It was like crazy times, and people was check raising like like crazy. Nowadays, you will be lucky if you'll get 35% of the folds
Hmm.
on the flop. So the meta is changing. So now you have to just check raise the flop so much that your value get paid. That's
Yeah.
it. You don't have to like over check raise or over bluff in these kinds of situations. What I like to do, and actually you can use it for our viewers and all the chat who are playing or trying to play and go up in the stakes. The guys who are c-betting a lot on the flop on the turn, you can just check raise. You can check raise nothing on the flop and check raise on the turn. Let me show an example. For example, the guy who is like c-betting you 90% of the time the flop and 70% of the turn, you can all these kind of hands that you want to check raise on the flop, just check call them. Wait for them to c-bet on the turn. For example, the blank card 9. They're gonna overbluff these kind of situations. They're gonna use the biggest sizes, the orbits, all these kind of shenanigans, and you just can check raise them here. So I mean, the solver doesn't do that, but as I suggest you that this is a very cool strategy to use because that's how you work and that's how you execute and punish the aggressive style of the play.
Yeah.
Because the stables, what they'll teach you that you have to barrel a lot.
Yeah.
Because we are playing PKO tournaments, so we have to make it the bigger pots. So if you want to win a PKO, you have to like build the pots. So that's why they usually use the bigger sizes. They barrel too much. They're too aggressive because what the people do usually they fold too much in these kind of situations. So that's the aggression you can like use against the very good players, or maybe if you see a crazy Brazilian guy or the Russian-speaking guy, you just can check raise not on the flop but on the turn, and it works like a clock. Yeah.
That's like the old fixed limit play. You gotta wait till the turn to raise when the bets are bigger.
Actually, it's actually a very funny story because now it's I think you know that World Series Poker is playing, and I saw a lot of mixed limits, and I was thinking, God, I'm playing like 5 or 10 years. I'm just landing one game, like no limit hold'em, two cards, all the same strategies. That's it. And when I saw all the TV translations, I was so like pumped up and was like so interesting to see the hands, how limit poker is played, how Raz. I mean, I know the rules in these games, but it was so interesting to see the top players or top like best players in the world, like Victor Blum or Daniel Negreanu. He's playing like all the limit games, and you see the things he does or how he thinks in these games, and you're thinking maybe if I go in pension and I will get older, I will think I will learn the limit games for sure.
I got older and I play some pot limit Omaha 8 or better, and we play some Big O. So we switched one of our
cards,
we switched one of our home games to a 5-card high-low, and people love it. And there's not a ton of material on it. I found like a book series called Scoop where there were 4 books in the series, and I read all those and I watched all the videos the guy had, but there's not a lot of material out there. I think what you're doing of just like watching the live play would actually do wonders for like improvement. And it's fun to play at different games because you get to think about things differently. You kind of like break up the regular thought process, and it's kind of it's more novel, it's new, it's fresh, so that makes it more fun for sure, more exciting.
Yeah, 100%. Because all the times when I see the hands that play in PLO situations or PLO tournaments, and I can sometimes use some ideas or how the people are playing some hands in different games and use in my game. So it's always like very interesting. I mean, there's some the games that are a little bit boring. For example, limit hold'em. I mean, I saw the hands, but usually you can use you can win one big bet here, one big bet there. You can sometimes bluff, but it's always the pot odds. I mean, you always get to one.
Never fold the river. Always bluff catch the river. You're getting 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1 you get, and it's always like here you can. That's why I like a little bit more no limit hold'em, because the strategy you can get away and use some hands and bluff the people is enormous. I mean, there's so much bluffing in this game. Like, I mean, the only game you can bluff, I mean, it's like deuce to seven, I think. So.
Yeah.
Single draw. There's a lot of bluffing, a lot of reading opponents.
The most aggressive players I know who have been successful in like all formats of tournaments, they do really well in deuce to seven. Only like the psycho super aggressive guys, they crush it at deuce to seven, and I guess that's why.
Yeah, that's why Nick Schulner has 3 bracelets.
Yeah.
So because he's a goat in this game.
Yeah.
And actually, he won this year, yeah.
Yeah, I think he won it again. Yeah.
Crazy bastard.
Yeah. So I think we are in the money at this point.
I mean, if we're not in the money, open.
I think we are.
If we are in the money, well, I mean, if you're in the money, we open. If we're not, we fold.
Yeah.
I mean, crystal clear. So yeah, Ace-9, we are definitely now in the money. I think so. It's
yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And it's a pure jam.
Yeah, that
we
looks
have to jam
jammy.
these kind of hands.
Yeah.
I mean, we can like miss out to Ace-9 off. I mean, let's see, maybe situations. 5%, 10% left. We are from the low jack. We have 11 big blinds.
I feel like in game, I mean, I probably still would have played 10 anyway. I think I said if we had 10, I would have jammed, but 12, I wasn't going to jam, but probably still just...
Yeah, you can raise, you can, but you have to, like, play it.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Suited's jam, yeah.
Yeah, offsuited, you can just raise fold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always actually a very tricky situation, because I see in the freeze-outs, people make a lot of mistakes when they're in the 10, 15 big blind range. Usually what I see, people are they're not loving to think in these kind of situations. They're like, oh, I have queen 10 off, 13 big blinds on the cutoff, I just jam, and let's see what happens. But Machine doesn't think that way. He opens only these kind of hands.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to jam because he understands he has fold equity. And usually what I always think, if you have a very close decision between jam and open an open raise, I usually only use open raise. Because if you're wrong with the open raise, you lose like 1.1 or 0.1 big blind per hand. If you are wrong with the jam, you can go and turn off the tournament and go do something else because you're out of tournament. Yeah. I mean, the mistake is much, much larger. So that's why if I am mistakenly opening up the wrong range, but the mistake is very small, usually I will use this kind of method. I usually open raise, not open jam. So as you can see, queen 10 off, we can just raise. And I like it because in the early position, you actually, even in 11 big blind stack sizes, people think, oh, I have 11 big blinds, what can I do with ace 10 off? I mean, you can open raise.
Yeah.
You don't have to jam it.
Yeah.
So you can like wiggle up or wiggle some, you have some wiggle room in these kind of situations.
Yeah.
So that's a major like difference with the freestyle tournaments and PKO tournaments. People, I mean, in the PKO tournament, you just jam it, and because you're gonna get called a much wider range. In the freestyle tournament, you have a maximum fold equity, so you want to open up and do some opening with these kind of hands.
Yeah, makes sense.
With ace-9, I think it was a go time, but
yeah, it makes sense.
But we made some double ups with the queens.
Yeah, I was definitely doing a little like extra risk averse, stalling, getting the pay jumps, you know, like big picture. It's where it's like, oh guys, we got another 500, we got another 1,000, and like we end up laddering up 5K or something, which everyone's pretty excited about. So I remember like in the close, I guess that one's not really close. The ones I felt were close, I was skipping, but like, yeah. It ended up working out. We get some doubles.
I always say to people that playing the tournaments which are not for average buy-in.
Yeah.
Or I see the situations where like playing, maybe for example, main event, final table in main event in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to swear it, but you don't care. I mean, you're playing for the money, very big money. So it's once on a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like be like thinking, oh, this is a jam, or this is a you have to go always and shove in these kind of situations. No, you're playing for a lot of money, and sometimes you can like wiggle. Sometimes you're a little bit more nittier or be a little bit safer in these kind of situations. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, like
I don't judge it.
I think it's easy for the people who are like watching on TV to be like, oh, you got to take that spot. You know, they got the
Yeah,
sims. They
yeah,
say
yeah.
this is obvious, and it's like, well, I mean, if the pay jump, this is not the case here, but like you said, for WSP Final 2, if the pay jump's like 500K, and the person's salary is like, I don't know, 80K, and it's like they only have to outlast one more person, they make 6 years of salary. The real world implications are that like they don't care about the little bit of EV they gave up, because you know maybe they're not playing for the win. They're just like, there's like 6 years salary, and if I ladder one more, that's like 15 years salary that I don't have to work. I'm folding to ladder up.
Yeah, yeah. That's college degrees for my two kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe I can ladder up and maybe fuck the GTO wizard. I want to just make
Yeah,
so my kids go to college.
yeah,
If the tournament is PKO, no, it's freeze out.
yeah.
So if we can win it, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Ace King. Sweeney actually is a reg. I was playing a lot when I lived in Thailand.
Yeah.
I was living there 1 year, and he was playing all the. It was like night, I think, all the tournaments with Americans.
Yeah.
The guy, he was like not so much aggressive, but he was like pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Let's call it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a regular.
Which he was trying to be a pain in the ass here.
Yeah, yeah. As you can see, got him. Got him. Yeah. Actually, I like that we squeeze with not jammed because we want to open up some nines or eights. Maybe
Yeah.
we're gonna jam you.
Yeah. I think he just falls, but yeah. Okay, so that's how we got the chips, with good hands.
Yeah, yeah. Check 10, I think we
Ooh.
have to flick it up.
Yeah.
Flick it in and just call.
That makes
We
sense.
can maybe sometimes 3-bet, but I think it's usually. Let me double check.
Oh, the guy raised under the gun? Okay, I thought it was unopened,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, but I think we can flat. It's UTG against cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 deep.
Let's find it. Let's 30 deep. Open up. Yeah, check. I mean, as you can see, it's not so. We are not printing money with these kind of calls.
Yeah.
We are not printing money with the 3-bets. So it's always a very close spot. But we
So
always
wait,
can make our.
I have a
Yeah.
question, because it's saying the EV is 0,
Yeah.
right? So why is it not mixing any fold if the EV is 0? And the EV of folding is always 0? Like
It's
what?
0.00. I mean, you can.
Ah,
I
okay,
just
okay,
here,
okay.
It's like minus. I mean, it's 0, but it's like a little bit minus. So it's very close. It's all these kind of situations it's close. If
Okay.
we like see, maybe it's like a little bit blue line or no.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Check 10 is a little bit better because they're more connected.
Yeah.
But it's always a hard question for the best players in the world,
Yeah.
which are playing the highest limits. What to do with these kind of hands, which are borderline to the call, to 3-bet or fold. You can just do every 3 options, as you can see. You just fold,
Yeah.
you can 3-bet, or you're just gonna fold. I mean, all the 3 options are on the table. So what can I do? So that's always the question. And usually I see the lineup. I usually, first of all, I see what who is opening.
Yeah.
So if I see the fish is opening, I'm gonna call 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's like 100%. Or if the regular is opening, but in the big blind is the fish,
Yep.
I'm calling 100% of the time.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm gonna fold is where the regular player is opening up, and all the 3 players behind me are regulars.
Yeah.
These kind of situations I will gonna miss, and I will fold. So as you can see, when you remember, you asked me the question when you use the randomizer.
Yeah.
That's how I don't use the randomizer.
Yeah.
I see the lineup, I see the situation, and after that all the arguments are over, and I see still the situation is 50-50. Maybe I will use the randomizer, maybe,
Yeah.
but just me.
Okay.
10-9, the same thing. We can open up. I mean, we can open up from UTG against the low jack. I mean, there is a lot of hands we are missing, so that's. I mean, that's actually is the biggest problem with the guys who are making first steps in the stable, that our like coaching or our thinking process in these kind of situations is open up a lot more hands and play a lot more hands, more aggressive. And people usually have a problem with that because like playing a lot more hands, and they're not like used to they're not used to be so aggressive and play so many bad hands in
Yeah.
position or out position.
Yeah.
So usually they are making a lot of mistakes. So that's why somebody is crashing out. Somebody is like, you see, he's playing even worse than before.
Yeah, because
Uh,
they're uncomfortable, they don't know what to do, and then they spew off because they weren't prepared for the post flop, right?
yeah, yeah, 100%. So I always try to like make some not examples, but some make some pointers. So if you are not comfortable to play a lot hands, it's okay. I mean, you don't have to be like, not everybody can be a professional in this game. I mean, this game is very hard in 2025.
Yeah.
You have to like be very like study it, very like calm, very like precise in these situations. So if you are not comfortable playing a lot of hands, you don't just don't. I mean, nobody's gonna. I mean, you're okay. You are like getting some EV in these kind of situations, but these are not kind of spots you are like losing a lot of E. I mean, a lot of E you are losing when you are not value betting enough,
Yeah.
or you're not using the correct sizes with your value hands. I mean, that's why I always suggest, first of all, learn to how to value bet your opponents. Then you will next step you will think about the bluffs, not the way another. Because people think, oh, I'm gonna bluff here, I'm gonna bluff there, this kind of hand I like it. No, first of all, learn how to value bet your hands.
Yeah.
Then learn how to bluff.
Yeah. And
That's my approach.
the other funny thing is, oh yeah, this was the one that even I was like, nah, that's too tight. The other thing is, in my head, if we were not to do this review, like, okay, I'm giving up some EV by not opening the 10-9 suited. But if we weren't to do this review, no one would even know anyway. It would have been a secret. Because what you may or may not know, Robert, was I was playing this with no delay. So this was a live stream. So I have my cards covered, but for the all-ins, I take the card cover off. And so that way the opponents don't know how I'm playing. So no one would have even known if we didn't do the review that I folded 10-9 suited in a profitable open spot.
And they gonna never know. they want the ropes, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get the light, so you're gonna see.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this king queen, I don't know why we folded it. I mean, clearly I was just really trying to just like in the 20 to 35 range. I didn't want to open anything but the goods, but I mean, this one's a pretty easy open. We're playing 8-handed king queen.
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually no problem. I usually think in these kind of situations that all the hands that we are opening up but are like a little bit mediocre, like lowest or range. Usually I'm very easily to when I get a 3-bet I just fold them because they are less like bottom range.
Yeah, how much is the king queen offsuit worth there? Just as an open.
As open?
Yeah.
I think a lot. I mean, we can open up with king jack here.
Yeah.
Easily, I think. Let's make it like these kind of situations.
Yeah.
King queen. I mean, it's not a lot, but yeah, king jack we can open up. Queen jack it's like mediocre.
So that'd be like
again
four BBs per 100. Is that what that 0.04?
Yeah, 4 BBs per 100. Yeah.
It's a fair bit. Yeah.
So yeah, but again, usually I always ask if I'm not gonna get 3-bets enough, and usually our meta now in our stable is that we're opening up from UTG like 25% of the time. I mean, as you can see in the freeze-out situations, we're opening up like 70% of the time. But in the PKOs, you want to open up like 25%, 24%. My stats are I'm opening up from early position like 26% of the time.
Is that still the case if you're the covered stack though and you can't bounty people?
Usually I'm always when I have a 50 big blinds or more, I usually open up these kind of hands. If I cover the all the table, I'm gonna open up like 30% of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm opening up all the 8 suited line, all the pockets. I'm opening all the connectors. I'm opening all ace-x hands, all the 10th line offsuited I'm opening up. So it's a lot of hands. But when I can show you in ICM situations. Let me make an example. PK situation where we cover all the table. Let's find it. Maybe like here. As you can see, he's opening up like 23% time.
Yeah.
So it's a very drastic change because he's covering all the guys. The knockouts are costing like between 8 big blinds and 12. So he understands that he wants to open up.
Whoa, they've added that feature where it tells you how many big blinds the knockout's worth? Or how exactly does that work? I haven't seen that before. That's cool.
Actually, I can give you example how to calculate the knockouts. It's very simple and simple way.
Okay.
So for example, let's make it.
Because some of the big O that I play has knockouts, and I'm definitely not playing aggressively enough.
Yeah. You have to. That's why I said in the start in the series. Okay. For example, when we start, it's usually 10k in. We start with the 10k stack, for example.
Yeah.
And for us, knockout is 1/4 of the stack. So it's like if you're buying, it's like $100.
Yeah.
So knockout costs $25.
Yeah.
So for us, we understand that knockout costs 1/4 of the stack.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that 2,500 costs one starting PKO.
Yeah.
So we have to and for example, the guy, he's a very short stack. He like get the bad beat. He lost the 80% of the stack. So he's left with 20 big blind with 2,000. So for example, he has 2,000 left from the starting 10,000. So we have to understand what kind of range we have to call in these kind of situations. Why can't open my...
Right, because that would be 4.5k in chips, effectively, if he has a starting bounty, right?
Yeah. Let me give you a second. Now we can work. 10k starting stack. We have a 2.5k how much costs his PKO. So, and the guy with the 2,000 goes all in. I mean, we open up with the 2 big blinds and he goes all in.
Yeah.
So for example, we have to like calculate open raise 2 big blinds plus 2.5, which is in the middle with the antes and the small blind.
Yeah.
And plus he's all in. So if he's in a big blind, he goes all in with 19 big blinds. So it's like 19 big blinds. So for all, we have to calculate. It will be
23.5.
Yeah, 23.5. Actually, it's a very good practice for our viewers because I see a lot of people who doesn't know how to count the pot odds. So sometimes it's a rookie thing, but you have to like understand how you calculate in these kind of situations.
Yeah.
So 2.4 plus 2.5 plus 19, it's 23.5, yes. So, and we have to, when we open up, we have to call 18 big blinds to win 41.5, if I'm not mistaken, because we open up.
We call 17, because he jammed 19 and we put in 2?
Yeah, but his overall stack is 20. He's
his overall stack's 20. Got it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we can make it to 20, so 21. So, but yeah, 23 plus 18. So it's 41.5. So we have to like 18 divide to 41.5, and we need 43% equity.
Yeah.
Against his range. I mean, sounds fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are not playing freeze out. We are playing PKO.
Yeah.
So we have to understand. We have to calculate how much his knock costs. So for example, the blinds are. So the people see 500 blinds. So we have to calculate his knockout, how many it costs, and it costs 2.5k. So for example, we have to calculate 2,500 chips more. So
we had 25, right?
Yeah, 41.5 plus 25.
Yeah.
You get 66.5, and now we divide.
Yeah.
18 divide to 66.5, and we need 27% equity.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's, for example, open up with Equilab.
Yeah.
And I will show you how much equity you have against for example, you have a worst. The guy is jamming against you. I don't know. These kind of hands. I mean, super nutty hands.
Yeah.
It's like 10% of the range he's jamming.
Yeah.
And we have, for example, let's make it 4-3 offsuit. I mean, it's trash hand, yeah?
Yeah.
Apply? How many equity you will think we'll have against his range?
Against that?
Just random guess.
25.
27. We are in we can call here plus EV.
Yeah.
So
plus the future value of having a bigger stack and being able to bounty more people makes it even more of a call, right?
Yes, it's in the starter sides you don't need this, but in the later stages, yeah, you have to calculate when you are final table, because first of all you win his bounty, and then you have a chance to win the heads up and win the second bounty when you win. I mean your bounty too. So you have to calculate. But in starting session, yeah, as you can see, 4-3 offsuit. I mean you can just call. So for example, if you have a suited hand, 2-7 suited.
Yeah. It's gonna be
it's just a call, yeah. It's just a call. I mean, you have to like, maybe we can just open up a little bit range. All suited X hands. He's jamming. Yeah, it's 30%. So every hand you open up, you can just call.
And that's because he had the starting bounty, but he was down to a quarter, a fifth of the starting stack. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very, very crucial to hunt them, because I see a lot of people mistakenly just fold it. I mean, when you see the guy who is in the big blind and he has one big blind left, from early position you have to like pip 100%.
Yeah.
From the lane, from the open, doesn't matter. But you have to like hunt them, because you are like buying in one big blind to win 1/4 of the buy-in.
Yeah.
Right now. So it's like risk reward is huge.
Yeah.
In these kind of situations. And I see people making a lot of mistakes in these kind of situations. So yeah, that's how you count. And for example, if you let's make it a fast example once again. Maybe now a situation a little bit different. Starting stack is 10k, and the guy is half the buy-in, his knock costs.
Yeah.
So for example, he has starting stack. He's a 20k stack. Blinds are 400. His knockout costs 5k, because half the buy-in of the starting and blinds, and he goes all in with 20k. So for example, now we have to count how many I don't know, re-raised. It's better. Let's make it 8k. Okay, so it's easier to count.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's make it 10k. So 25 big blinds he shoves. So we have the same formula. 2.2 plus 2.5, it's 29.5 plus his knockout. Now we have to calculate his knockout, how many costs. Now it's 5k, so we have to divide just 5k. It costs 12.5 big blind, his knockout. Not 25, but 12.5. So we just plus 12.5, we get 43, yeah? Or something like that.
42.
42, yeah. Yeah, 42. So we now have to just calculate again how much equity we need against this range.
Yeah.
So it's 42 plus our call, yeah. So it's 42 plus
23.
18 big blinds, because his raise. No, 19 big blinds. We have to.
No, because he's doing 25 big blinds, right? So it'd be 23 more.
Yeah, 23 more, yeah.
So 65.
65, and we have just divide now. 23 divide 65. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be just over a third.
35% we need. I mean, every suited hand, it's just a call now.
Yeah.
I mean, all the connected hands. I mean, not all hands. I mean, we have to just calculate how many hands he's just shoving here. Maybe shoving like these kind of hands. Maybe these, and now like 7-8 suited will be just a call. I mean, he will be close, I think, but yeah, it's close, but you have to call with 7-8 suited.
Yeah.
So when you see your guys or your opponents call you off with the 7-8 suited, and you say, how is this fish calling you? Maybe it's not fish. Maybe he's just calculated guy and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So you have to understand how to proceed and how to count these kind of situations. And the mystery bounty is the same thing, but I think we can maybe do it later or after
Yeah.
the all the hands you have if you have a time. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we didn't open king queen, but that's how you count PKOs. That's how you think about them. And in your first time you think it's very hard or very like challenging, but after like 1 or 2 weeks you get used to it, and it's like automatic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's no problem with that. Ace 9, we can open up. Let's call. I see things some people doesn't see. For me, it's actually a good check raise spot.
Wow. Why?
Two things. First of all, I have a 9, so I have more opportunities when the 8 or 10 comes off. I can rep a little bit some kind of straights that I have, king 9 or 9-8. And second thing, I have ace of spades. After, if I get the, first of all, I will check raise here with the small sizer here because I won't place so many turns here. And all the spades that come on the turn, I just bluff it off and 3 streets. That's it. For me, it's like when I see the on the turn spade comes off, that's it for me. I'm seed belting.
Yeah.
I'm going with it. So let me actually show. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure that it's solver proof check raise.
Yeah.
And I like because first of all, a lot of hands that he's c-betting here. He's c-betting like 100% of the time in these kind of boards. So what we're gonna do with all these pockets, 8s, 9s, 6s, ace 7 even, what we're gonna do with ace 9, I don't know, maybe 6, 6, 5, all these kind of hands, king 9 maybe even. He's in trouble. So he has very difficult time. Maybe he can call the flop, but on the turn when you see bet on the turn, he has a very big problem with all his 7x, jack hex hands, all his 10s, 9s, 8s. So you can get a lot of pressure against these hands. Let's make it 20 big blinds. Yeah, but GTO Wizard is now very, very cool thing to how to study your game. I mean, it's not like I'm not sponsored with GTO Wizard, but all the professional players are using a lot nowadays. And he opened up with from the hijack. Yes, I see. I just very curious what kind of hands he's gonna check raise here, and I think ace 9 is
The double backdoor draw.
yeah. I'm just actually curious. He's not jamming these kind of hands. I mean, it's close, yeah, but no, he's calling. I want to double check.
Yeah, I think probably would have jammed it against like the cutoff, definitely the button.
Because he's not getting a worse hand to fold. He's always thinking in these kind of situations that if he's jamming ace 9, this does ace 10 off his folding. If not, he doesn't see the reason why he has to jam it. And we see the c-bet like 100% of the time, I think so. Yeah, there's no donks. Yeah, it's no checks here.
No.
And we check raise something. No, we are check raising sometimes, but it's so close. But we are not folding.
Wow.
That's for sure, as you can see. And he's check raising what kind of hands? King 7, King 10. I mean King 10, of course, he's check raising. As you can see, yeah, he's check raising like King 9 of hands. I mean, that's like what these kind of hands I like to check raise. King 9 with a spade, King 9 with the 9 of spade. You can use these kind of bluffs, and yeah.
And I guess he's probably check calling with the king high spade and the ace of spades to be able to check raise them as a bluff when the spade comes in on the turn.
Yeah. Oh, there's a problem actually. I see now. Let me fix it.
Sure, the raise was
too big. Check raising with a bigger size. That's why he doesn't want to check raise these kind of hands. We're gonna make him check raise with a smaller size. Yeah, like this. Let's see. Maybe ace 9 is now check raising happily. Not, but ace 10.
Yeah. Okay, I see it.
So as you can see, yeah, he's using these kind of hands that even ace 3, as you can see, ace deuce. He's just check raising.
Right. So it really likes the ace of spades,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it also likes the gut shots. And you're saying, ace of spades with the backdoor gut shot. You're saying you'd rather have that than ace three because it gives you an extra thing that you can use for bluffs.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
Because after 8 comes off, I can represent more 9-10 hands, some kind
Yeah.
of, and there's harder way to think what kind of bluffs I have. Because I mean, I usually I like to bluff with the 9 comes off because what are my bluffs in these kind of situations? That I mean, 8 9 8, 10 9. So you have to be very creative in these kind of situations. So when the ace rolls off, when the 9 rolls off, usually we can go 3 streets, and usually I use the smaller sizes. So calls, the spade comes off, and as you can see, ace 3 we're gonna just like bet 100% of the time. It's no checking when it's
Yeah.
the spade. And you're gonna fold. You will get some folds. 26% of the time. Now all the check X hands are like different, and he's just hating his life.
Yeah. Yeah. You can really force a lot of the range to fold.
Yeah. So it's always like micro poker he's playing. He's like usually people what they like to think. Oh, I have SPR1. I have to decide now, here and now. The best players, what they think is like opportunities.
Hmm.
So he's gonna mid-click you on the flop, use the 20% size in the turn, and jam you river SPR 0.4 or 0.5. So that's the usually the lines the best players are using.
That's nice too, because like first off, um, the opponent is getting offered better odds to call the bluff, but so they'll probably think, oh, he's more likely to have it because he's giving me this good price. And the other benefit is they get like 3 opportunities for the opponent to fold instead of just one by breaking it down into parts. And the later on in the hand that the opponent decides to fold, the bigger of a pot they win with the bluff. So
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
like many benefits working the right. And if the opponent calls down, they were going to just call a jam right away anyway. So it's not like they lose more often. In fact, they win more often, and they win bigger pots more often than they would if they just did the lazy check jam 1 SPR bluff.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And actually, the third thing, you can give a chance to give your opponent make your. I mean, he can make go all in, and you just fold your bluff, so you don't have to bluff the river.
Yeah.
So he thinks, oh, the scary card will come on the river, so
Yeah.
I will jump here right now
Yep,
because I have to protect my hand.
I do
But
that.
if it, yeah, yeah. So if he doesn't jam, his range gets a little bit weaker too
Yeah.
on the river. So it's
So your
all the
fold
plus.
equity is going way up on the later you get. That's cool. That'd be like
Yeah,
a cool
yeah.
thing to graph almost, seeing how like the fold equity is going up as the pot size is increasing too.
And actually, you don't have to get like too many folds. When you bluff in SPR 0.5, you have to get like 25% of time folds.
Yeah.
So you get to like break even.
Yeah.
So it's like one in the fourth time your bluff gets through. So you're in happy days.
Yeah.
So it's not like so much. I mean, people usually are scared to bluff. They think if I bluffed and I got called, I played my hand bad or I played wrong way my hand. Sometimes they have a top in the range. Sometimes they have it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be like result oriented. You're more like theory oriented. You have to be.
Yeah.
And usually, what I think about the solver, I don't like to use solver as what I have to call here or what kind of hands he's calling. I usually use solver to think what kind of bluffs he uses, how he structures his bluffing range, what kind of hands he's check raising. Because I mean, the fold equity or how to calculate how people are playing is very different. How many players are, how many different strategies, and that's how many like hundreds of players are playing differently. You like break down like 100 players who are playing, and each of the one of them are playing different style.
Yeah.
So you cannot count who is gonna call more, less. So for me, what can I do with the solver? I usually use as a tool to understand what kind of hands I want to bluff and how much fold equity I get to with all these kind of hands, and it's the right thing to do or wrong thing to do, but usually that's how I work with the solver. I don't ever use as a thing. Oh, I call with this hand because the solver calls. No, it's always the wrong way because he gonna jam all the bluffs on the river after he check raised the flop or check raised the turn and he jammed all.
Yeah.
But always the first question is if you're gonna jam all his bluffs too. That's always the question. So you have to divide to like all the values you're gonna jam, but if you're gonna call shove all his bluffs too. So and there's some different types opponents. Some guys are playing a little bit more passive. Some guys are playing super aggressive, and you're very happily to call them with the like third pair. So
Yeah.
it's always depends on which opponent you are playing. Against some guys, I'm very happily to against check raise to fold the flop top pair. Against other guys, I'm very happily to call the check raise with the third pair and call all three streets. So it depends always.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to check raise here, maybe check call, maybe, but
And what are you making it? Like 3.5 big blinds?
yeah,
Okay.
four big blinds, yeah.
Okay.
4 big blinds, 4.2. And you don't have to like get so many folds. You like risk 4.2 to win like how many in the pot? 11?
A lot. And if the turn, if you go for the check raise and the turn is like a deuce of hearts, are
You
you
can just give up. You can give up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool?
So you have to like
you get the really good price on the check raise on the flop, and then on the turns that are better for your perceived range, you continue, or that directly improve your equity, you continue. But if your equity doesn't improve and the texture doesn't change, you just say, cool, I risked 4 to win 11. I didn't get it. I'm done with the hand. I'll move on to a better spot.
sounds good for me.
Okay.
That's actually you like narrowed it down very perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed because that's actually how poker works in new meta nowadays. Because you have like some problems you have to like solve. So you have to just think about like, oh, I have this kind of hands. I want to check raise. What kind of turns I will usually continue? What kind of turns I will give up?
Yeah.
And when you get this understanding better, you'll get a much better poker player. So that's the main problem because there is no such problem with the value hands. But even then, I see the people playing very bad.
Yeah.
With the bluffing side, there's always a tricky side. Some people are over bluffing, some people are under bluffing, and you have to like find the right rhythm, find the right players who are folding too much, or for example, not folding anything because they are calling stations.
Yeah.
There's some guys who are just, I mean, I cannot bluff them because they are too much like calling stations. They're not, I mean, the biggest like sin for them is to fold the best hand, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So against them, I like to just use the value. The same thing, yeah, with sixes. I think we want to like, I mean, again, these are the marked hands which I want to like try or explain that are a little bit, I would play a little different way. All these kind of hands, I didn't see the problem with that you win, like open chime here, hands, ace queen. I mean, you can maybe raise call here, but it's fine to open chime with ace queen.
Yeah.
So you get calls with ace 10, ace 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing a pretty basic strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
not too
this
fancy.
kind of shove is like
I found the jam. Nice.
solver approved. It's solver approved.
Well, we have a quote that we use. Have you seen the movie Anchorman?
Anchorman, it's about the TV guys.
Yeah, with Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy, that whole thing. So
I don't remember the film, but I
whatever, you know it. So there's one scene where his friend's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this cologne. And they're like, oh, what's that cologne? That's quite a crazy bottle. He's like, it's Sex Panther cologne. They say that, you know, I forget how it's made or whatever, but they're like, you know, he says like 50% of the time it works every time. So our joke is that when you've got a suited ace, you say, well, you know, 30% of the time it works every time. So even if you get called, 30% of the time it works every time. And we have an emote in chat for the 30% for when you hit it. So like that's the liner for these, like, well, you know, even if we get called 30% of the time it works every time, and that's good enough for us.
Yeah, sounds good, because I always say to my new students, if we are wrong with the passive side, we are screwed. we have no chance winning in tournament, winning
Yeah.
this hand. But if we are wrong in aggressive side, I mean, we are more
Yeah.
aggressive side. Yeah, we are wrong. We have 3 outs on river.
Yeah, we might get lucky.
We get lucky maybe. So that's always my point, because when we are wrong in the passive side, we are cooked. We
Yeah.
have very big problems, and yeah, it's always
And like,
very hard.
but if the raise was from under the gun or under the gun 1, this is not still a jam, right?
No.
Okay.
Against the hijack, I think it's
Yeah.
a jam. Against a middle position, I would like to see the player which I'm against
Yeah.
who are playing, and how many hands he's opening from the low jack. But we
Yeah.
can actually double check.
It's also like, it's kind of, I remember when I was first like learning more from tournament players, I saw the rejams and I saw I had to be more aggressive. But it's crazy the difference in the rejamming range versus like button cutoff. And then like it really starts to swing once you go hijack, low jack. Like you really don't want to be attacking too aggressively against them.
As you can see, even against the UTG Open, he's like a little bit jamming, but usually
Yeah.
he more about to call. Ace 4, Ace 5, he likes to jam because these kind of hands have more potential to get straights. So he loves to like Ace 5. It's a computer hand, you know, like Ace 5 4-bet happy.
Yeah.
All the guys are 4-betting. But yeah, against the hijack, I like to like.
Wait, question. The ace 4, doesn't it have the same chance of making a straight as the ace 2? Actually, 2, 4.
No.
I can make the random like the 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Higher straight you can make. With Ace Deuce, you can only make 5 high straight.
Yeah, you're right.
Or 6 high, yeah. 6 high.
Yeah.
That's your limit. With the 4, you can make 8 high straight till the 5 high straight.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Forget about the ones where they just use the one card and it makes a difference.
You can use. I mean, you can jam it. I mean, the equity is actually, as you can see, close.
Yeah.
All in is 21. Call is 21.
Yeah.
So in these kind of situations, I usually look up how many hands he's opening up. If he's opening up more than 25% of the time, I will jam. If he's opening less than 25% of the time, I would usually call.
Yeah, and that'd be like a situation where like, remember I was going through a course, they were talking about this. They're like, don't look at the position of the opener once you're dealing with ICM. Like, look at the stack size. And it's like, if it's the chip leader on the table who's opening under the gun 1, you're probably fine to rejam the ace 2 suited, because if they're actually like a studied player, they're going to be opening a lot wider because they have like the table chip lead and stuff. It doesn't matter that it's a UTG open, because really, in terms of your normal chippy V ranges, that's like a cutoff open.
Yes, I almost want to say that, because you don't have to think about the position more, but more about the range he's opening.
Yeah.
But if you think he's opening like 35% of the time from UTG, that means you're wrestling against cutoff, not against UTG.
Yeah.
That's it. So as you can see, against button, solver proved.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's going on with this, the sixes fold, was, as I just said, with same thing, you know, with that 15 to 25 big blind stack, I didn't really want to look for close opens. I wanted to look for spots where I could just be rejamming all my chips in, and I was being really specific of only following that strategy.
Yeah, sounds good. But with sevens, we're going with it.
Oh yeah, someone hated this. I'm pretty sure it worked out, but someone said you can't do that. It's too much.
I mean, I always say to my chat when I stream, you can do whatever you want. You're playing, they are not. That's it.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it. I mean, when I heard you all like 1.5 hours, how you explain how you think about the game, what's your situations, I don't hate it, because if you don't feel comfortable with the post-up play, I mean, it's okay play to shove. I mean, you can just say always the argument. If you don't feel so comfortable playing post-up with these guys, or just like 4-bet jamming with sevens when they click it through your 4.5 or something like that. I mean, the jam makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. Because you're giving like, you're not making a mistake. Don't get me wrong. I mean, jamming sevens, you're plus CV.
Right, it's just not the most plus CV play. And in the long run, having the response of like, oh, I don't think I can like play with these guys post flop, fine. For this one time, that's okay. But long run for development as a player, you don't want to be using that excuse. You want to be like, okay, what do I need to do to get to the point where I feel perfectly comfortable playing with them post flop? And then I can just min raise.
As you can see, we are 14 big blinds per 100 we are
Okay.
So we are not losing money. We are just like not getting most of it.
Yeah.
So he's just raising and calling off like these kind of stacks. Yeah. Yeah, he's calling with sevens. Even fours are close, but no. I mean, fives I would skip, but sixes, sevens, yeah, raise call there.
Yeah.
As you can see, because he's jamming like these kind of hands.
Yep.
Or and he's three-betting these kind of hands, but nobody's gonna do that.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the actually recommendation is for our viewers too, that the more the later is the stage of the tournament, the more you want to 3-bet and less cold call. That's because the bubble factor is gets higher. So all the hands that we want to like cold call, we want to use the 3-bet because we are not going to realize our equity too much in these kind of situations. We get punished, we cannot float too much in post-flop situations. So the solver, what he does, he just 3-bets more. All, as you can see, suited hands, he jabs like suited hands. He doesn't call king queen a lot because of the chance to realize his equity. But yeah, as I said, you're not wrong. I mean, you play. I mean, you can shove aces too. I mean, plus EV.
Yeah.
But you understand as me that we want to choose the most profitable decision.
Yeah.
Not just profitable.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I don't like to open shove 15 big blinds with the queen 10 off from the hijack.
Yep.
I usually like to min raise.
Makes
But
sense.
yeah, can we hold?
Probably against like ace king or something. Yeah.
Easy game.
And it's crazy. We have so many chips now. It's crazy.
I mean, you see the guys.
Yeah.
The big blinds. It's crazy. It's crazy structure for Venom. It's like 20 minutes blinds. Yeah.
Yeah, and then day 2 is 30 minutes.
Oh. It's more like marathon. It's not. It's more like discipline, not like who is like very like calm, collected, and can play like long hours. Because I see a lot of players making like how you can say spews.
Yeah,
that's spewing around.
That's the other reason I play a little slow, like more just like solid in Venom. Is I know that's the case. And I don't know, it's a 10-hour day. I guess I'm trying to also limit the decisions so I don't get decision fatigue. Granted, I was only one tabling, but you know, you play for bigger stakes than usual. It's kind of stressful.
I mean, we can discuss the queen again, but as you can see, the second time, yeah. I mean, we just didn't open, so I mean, it's understandable why it didn't open. We lose some hands, but I saw the hand solid was like pretty like standard. We cannot do anything. The larger size, 40%.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do, I mean. Sevens, the same thing, we can open up.
Yeah.
8-5, I like to defend.
Makes sense.
8-5.
Yeah, suited.
Should be defend because we can flop straights. I mean, ace deuce, ace 3, it's a little bit borderline. We can maybe skip these kind of hands. With 8-4, we are much happier with these kind of hands.
Right. Is that because, like, occasionally with the ace deuce, ace 3, since he's raising more of the offsuit aces, we're going to be dominated a bit more often? Whereas, like, with the 8-5 suited, what, we're going to run into ace 8 sometimes? Like, and we're not going to overplay one pair, right? Like, with the 8-5 suited, we're only really getting aggressive with, like, 2 pair plus. Whereas with the...
Yes, and the first, I think the main reason is that we can just flop the straight. With ace deuce, we cannot do.
Okay.
So all the hands we can flop the straights and are lower sided, more like 5-4, 6-5, 7-5 maybe. They're more premium. And always I tell my students that how to like remember the defending ranges from the big blind. You just can defend like all the suited hands.
Yep.
I mean, against till the half the field this is in the play, you just can defend all your suited hands against the min raise. It doesn't matter. The problem comes when there is a multi-way spots, and actually I see a lot of mistakes that people are making. And let's make it like 50 big blinds. As I see, the one guy is opening, the button is cold calling. Usually the 8 line is now in mediocre situation and doesn't want to defend offsuited.
Yeah.
So always say, when you see the 3-way spot and you are in a big blind, just fold offsuited 8 line, all these kind of hands. When you see the 4th guy in hand, let's make it cold call button in the big blind. You
Fold
fold
the
the
9.
9th line.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good, easy to remember heuristic. That's cool.
Yeah. It's very easy. You like, it's a 3 players. If I'm a 3rd player, I fold 8 line.
Yeah.
If it's I'm a 4th player, I fold 9th line. And even you can fold like a 10th line. I mean, we have researches for our guys that have a lot of hands. They saw that all these kind of queen 10 offsuited, king 10 offsuited hands in multi-way spots, they are not playing so great.
Yeah.
And as you can see, all now the suited hands are break evenish, are folding now.
Yeah.
But 8-5 still you can defend even in a 4-way.
Okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's how I like
Yeah.
size down all these ranges, because it's always very hard to remember all these kind of situations. You have to like, big blind range, small blind range, 3-bet ranges. It's all mixed up.
Yeah.
So I like to try to like simplify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Ace 10, open up. I like to c-bet because we want to c-bet this range like almost 100% of the time. Turn is a very bad card, but still we are... And this is actually a very pure poker spot. These kind of situations you have to like calculate what kind of ranges he have.
Yeah.
Does he bet the 10 here? I don't think so. Does he bet the jack even with this kind of size? Jack 8, Jack 7, I don't think so. So only the strong Jack X hands he bets like so big, like Queen Jack, maybe Ace Jack. And even then, Ace Jack he can maybe shove, maybe not. So we are left with the straights. Ace Queen, that's not the thing because he shoves pre-flop. Queen 9, it's possible, of course. But yeah, but what kind of bluffs he has? He has all the 8-9s, Queen 8, all the flush throws. So
Yeah.
we have to like win 1 on the 4th time. Like we have like 23% of the time we have to win.
Yeah.
So I think about our image and how we play, I think we can click it here because he can maybe pursue that we are not so crazy
Mm-hmm.
and maybe overbluff all his like hands that teacher called here.
Yeah.
So I can see like 9-7 even in the diamonds, like 9-8 of clubs, Queen 8, Queen 5 with the diamonds. He's calling, of course. Ace 5 with the diamonds. I mean Ace 5 we are blocking, so it's a little bit worse. So I can think some bluffs.
Yeah.
It's not so many, but there is some bluffs, and the chances are, I mean, it's a good pot odds. I mean,
Yeah.
and if you can discount that he's not value betting the jack that way, our call gets even better. If you think that he's betting like that with the jack 9, I think we have to fold. That's the main how I think about these kind of situations. I don't randomize here.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
just thinking, is he value betting jack 9? If yes, I have a problem. If not, I have a easier call. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the viewers there, the reason that's like super important is you basically have like whatever, you got a rectangle and you're gonna split it. You got the value bets and the bluffs, right? And the more and we need of that rectangle that a quarter of it is bluffs. Right?
Yeah,
If he's value betting a jack, that section that's value bets is bigger, but as soon as you take those out, that starts to get smaller. So even if the amount of bluffs are the same, the percentage of bluffs is higher, and therefore we have a more profitable call. And that's why it's really important to determine how wide is he value betting and comparing that to how many bluffs he has.
You explained it perfectly because I have a little bit language barrier because
Yeah.
it's my third language, but you explained it perfectly, and I'm happy that you like
Yeah.
nitpicking and just said it perfectly. Yeah. So if we think that Jack X hands are not value betting with these kind of sizes or not value betting enough, we get a much clearer call because his value bet range is getting smaller, but his bluffs still stays the same because all his 9x hands, ace x hands, queen x hands, all his flush throws, they have to bluff. I mean, they're not going down to the showdown because you have all the 5s, 6s, 7s, ace highs that you just check fold.
Yeah.
So with ace 10, I mean, with ace jack, I mean, it's a pure call. I mean, it's easy call.
Yeah.
But with the ace 10, it's tricky. You have to like always discount. And you don't have a lot of time usually in these kind of tournaments. You
Yeah.
have like maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. For us, it's like
And
privilege to so we can discuss this hand about like 5-10 minutes.
yeah, and the interesting thing is, if he's not betting his jacks, then ace 10 and ace jack are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
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 It looks
doesn't
like
matter.
much worse, but when you really look at, like, you got to ask yourself, chat, like, how light is he value betting? And if he's skipping those ones in the middle, then yeah, it's the same hand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
pretty
he
high
doesn't
up.
have a queens because queens he raised
Yeah.
pre-flop. He doesn't have a straights ace queen because he rips that pre-flop. He
Yeah.
doesn't have tens and jacks because they rip pre. So if you narrow it down his range, you can see that the call makes sense.
Yeah.
And not always you're gonna win. I mean, of course you're gonna see like king six of clubs or king nine of clubs. I mean, you can lose these. I mean, you see the value, but sometimes they bluff, and sometimes it's good enough. In the long run, you will make the money. If
Yeah. Yeah, you could
if they
lose.
bluff all the hands.
You could lose half the time and you're still making money. Even if, like, this is one of the hardest things for humans to play poker, is that you could call here and lose 60% of the time and you're still making money, but it's gonna feel bad because you're losing the hand more often than you're winning. So it feels like it was a bad call, even if mathematically you are making money by doing it. That's one of the things you gotta, like, break through.
And the result, I mean, the moment of the result is bad. I mean, you lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
you're a loser.
Yeah.
And people in our schools, we like to like say that, oh, you want to be the first, you want to win the competition or something like that. In poker, it doesn't work that way. It's like in investments.
Yeah.
Same thing. You don't always win in your investments.
Nope.
You just try to make the plus CV investments.
Yeah.
And in the long run, they're gonna make you a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. You can jam, but I like the style.
Yeah.
Here it's the same thing. You can open up. You can bet it. I mean, with the queen of clubs or king of clubs, I like to see bet more.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to like show you example and some tricky thing. I will show you one board. It's a situation hijack against the big blind, and the board will come down as 10-7-4. How you think what will be the most popular size in this kind of boards? 10-7-4, all rainbow. For hijack.
I think it's gonna be like larger, 2/3, 3/4.
Almost, but not. Half of the range is gonna overbet 125.
Okay.
It's overbet time. Because in these kind of situations, all these middling boards, 9-6-3, 10-7-5, 9-5 deuce. I will show you a report. It will be easier actually. All these kind of middling boards, he likes to overbet like crazy. As you can see, 10-7-4. It was it was picked for this example. As you can see, all these kind of boards you just can overbet. And it's only just a freeze out. It's not even a PKO. In PKO formats, you can just overbet like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And the biggest plus that you get when you like overbet here, people are gonna overfold like crazy. Because the solver calls with the 4x hands and the 7x hands, and even he calls with like, I don't know, 5-3 or king queen, king jack hands, which is only backdoors.
Yeah.
He calls with the, I don't know, with the ace queen. And if we gonna let him that he's gonna fold not 60% of the time, but 65, usually that's how many people are gonna fold on overbets. We are just printing money. So that's why we use the biggest sizes. And for example, that gives our two things. First of all, when we overbet these kind of situations, we have a chance. Again, we are overbetting with the ace 10, for example. And after he gonna call, the queen comes in the turn. If you made the size like 1/3 on the flop, you are scared against the queen because you're thinking, this has a queen jack, king queen, queen 9, maybe even he's floating. So he's all these kind of hands. in his range. When you overbet the flop, he doesn't care. He's value betting his ace 10 till the river.
Right. Yeah.
Because his queen x hands only have queen 7, queen 10, and queen 4. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and we block queen 10, so he has so much less queen 10. Usually his range is just 7s, 10s, and 4s. And it's an easy way to play these kind of situations against overbet, because all my students ask what you do against when you bet overbet and he calls. What you have to do. I mean, his range is pretty like understandable. He's like pair heavy, top pair heavy. I mean, you just can bluff only on overcards. Jack, queen, king, ace.
Yep.
That's your cards. The lower cards, like 8, 9, 6, 5, you can give up.
Yep. Makes sense.
So yeah, but overbets, it's that's why if you see the overbets on the flop, that's not because they're fishes or they're very new to the game. That's because the GTO wizards are giving much tools and to like study the game. And now I see a lot of people's. And I usually like to play in live poker.
Yeah.
There was some woman there was board like 10-7-4. I overbet the flop. She was like watching me like crazy. What you're doing? Why you overbetting this board?
Yeah.
She was thinking in 5 minutes, and I said, and I had like ace deuce offsuit or something like that. I just was overbetting. He was like, okay, I believe you, and shows me a 10 fold.
Wow.
So you can like push an envelope sometimes a lot. I mean, okay, of course that was live. I mean, in online nobody's gonna fold your 10, but in offline somebody, or in live poker somebody gonna fold. But yeah, that's a little bit like idea. That
cool.
The main thing is the sizes. The sizes are key in tournament poker when you are in position, because usually the meta 5 years ago was 1/3, 1/3, 1/4, 1/3. But now it's like overbets, 2x pots, pot bets, and it's poor woman.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's big pressure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a part of the game. You have to bluff. I mean, we are all playing the same game. So yeah, that's the I'll think that's why I said you can use actually here a bigger size, but yeah, you have a smaller stack, so it doesn't make sense here to bet overbets or something.
I just
like
checked,
that.
Right? Did I just check?
Yeah, check. You can actually bet the turn here sometimes to protect, just to 6-5 doesn't get there, or I don't know, like just like 2 random cards doesn't make, so you can just like bet very small, like 2 blinds maybe.
Yeah.
Just protect. And yeah, in the river, you actually can make an argument to call, because he's not value betting ace high. He's not betting like that with the deuce. He's representing 7 or 9 here, or 10, of course. And he's not, and he's betting usually he's 10 for himself on the turn.
Yeah.
So if we like divide it, we are left with a lot of bluffs here, and we need only 30% of the time. So you can make actually argument for king high call, but I usually like to call here with the ace high here.
Yeah.
I usually like mixed up. I think if I'm gonna call with the king high here too, I'm gonna call here too much here. So I will be protected here. I usually call with all my ace x hands and fold all my king x hands. So I have some folds. It's not like I'm not folding anything in this board.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds. I mean, you can call, you can fold. It doesn't matter. It's like it's break even-ish. These kind of situations. Yes, and that's I think last thing we can 3-bet here. 3-bet fold.
Yeah. Make it like 6.
5.2, 5.2, 5 blinds, because we have actually a very easy situation. The 2 stacks are not like not a problem for us. So it's usually only 2 stacks that can make our like problems worse. And he's raising, yeah, he's maybe a little bit lighter because he had to call off these kind of stacks, but only this guy. I mean, that's not still a problem.
Yeah.
And usually I like to, with the ace jack off, I usually like to 3-bet. And actually you can see with the ICM implications.
It's good blocker hand.
Yeah. And I don't like to play again with the cold call.
Yeah.
So I usually like to, it's a high check against low check, yes. 25 big blinds deep. Open up. as you can see, you
Yeah.
can 3-bet. I mean, it's very close still. It's not like you're like printing money. But
Yeah.
still, if you like lock the reactions that he's not gonna shove you like crazy with these kind of hands, he's gonna call only.
Yeah.
Then we can make a case and just 3-bet more easily, and he's not gonna shove these kind of hands and just fold. We're in a good stage to pick up some blinds and just keep up our stack.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And the last hand was very unlucky. We get raised, open jam, ace king church.
Yeah, I think
Some streamers said they call him like church or something.
yeah, Kevin Martin, he calls it the Church of Ace King because you just gotta, when you got Ace King, you just gotta pray that it comes in your favor. So they pray to the church. I think we were like 4 spots away from like a 1K ladder or something too. Like I'd done everything I could to play slower and see fewer hands and get closer, but I wasn't gonna not play Ace King.
Yeah, you have to risk it. I mean, if you don't play ace king, what's
Yeah.
gonna play?
Yeah.
You don't give a chance to win the tournament. And actually, the board is very good, but he had the set.
His hand, yeah, I thought it was a flip. It's a good
So-
run though. I
Yeah.
didn't have any like big expectation. The cash for almost 10K was nice. I got to pay out, 5K to the viewers right away. They were hyped about that. I got to buy my girlfriend a bike. She's hyped about that. I got a little bit of money in my bankroll. It was a good couple days. Good stream. And we got a nice review out of it too.
Yeah. I hope you like it, because I was very like, in the start, I was like very a little bit, how you can say, not in my comfort zone, because I was
Okay.
thinking, of course, you have, you are playing like a 2.6K tournament. I mean, it's a Venom. It's a very like a lot of crushers, and I was thinking for your chat, so the information is a little bit like, how you can say, understandable, and the language barrier I think was a little bit problem for me. But for all, I think you understand a little bit.
Yeah, no, your English was fine, man. Everything you said was completely understandable. I'm sure everyone in
thank you,
chat
thank
got
you.
it. And we'll save the VOD so that they can watch it back after. But yeah, it's like normally I'm playing like home games up to $20 ABI. And then if chat's like, let's play something bigger, we might play a 66, we might play a 109, we might even play a 215. But we're not, usually up to par with the players there. I don't do anywhere near the amount of study that I used to do. I'm more focused on the stream, making the stream look better, things like that. So I'm more like having fun when I play. So yeah. Your expectation was higher than it was going to be. I was like, okay, this opportunity, let's play a Venom. We do it every quarter. It's fun. But yeah, there's nice to have lots of clear spots where you could talk about how we could have played better and why, and talk theory, because I make plenty of mistakes because I just don't study as much. But things like these are very helpful for me where, I'll play better in the future.
And usually my approach in these kind of streams is, I don't want to like be like geek, or like show you the solver 30% of the time is check raising you, so you have to like narrow your range to blockers, and it's like you can be a geek in these kind of situations, be very like boring in these conversations. So I was trying to like make more some ideas, and you can just like level up them or just think about them, how you can play them. And that's, I think, the most valuable thing you can do as a, I don't know, trainer, or when you coach somebody. That just give him ideas, because you just cannot give much information for the guy in 2 hours. I mean, you cannot teach them to play poker in 2 hours. It's not possible. But you can give some ideas how you can look in a game in different ways. So I hope I made my point, or
For sure, and it's easier for people. It's easier for people to retain the information when you give some clear concepts, as opposed to like overly drilling down one's box. Like, oh, okay, I can understand that. I can implement that. That'll come up more. Whereas when people get lost in the geeking out, I think a lot of like less serious players they tune out. They just get bored because they're like, this is way too in depth. But I think we had a good balance.
Yeah, it's very boring. I mean, I don't like for myself when I get in the geeking stuff. I mean, in the stable, we'll get that, because I mean, the people are playing for the stable money, and they're like winning for themselves for the stable, so it's a little bit pressure for them. But here it's like a little bit like calmer content.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell the viewers, both the ones who are here now and the people who watch the replay later, Because you said you have your stream too, like where they can follow you, where they can watch you if you do stuff, or if it's only unstable, and then also like what your favorite parts about being an SVpoker are. So if anyone was curious, they're thinking about it, but they're maybe on the fence, maybe you could tell them a few things that might get them to say like, yeah, okay, I could give that a try, or that's why that would be really useful. Some things like that.
Actually, it's a very good question because for me, poker was in the fence, on the fence in like 5 years ago, I think, because I had uh, made the college, so I was thinking go to the profession of mine or play poker professionally. So
Yeah.
I was on the fence. So I was thinking, what can I do, or what I think should I do? And first year I was trying by myself, and I didn't get the result that I wanted. And I was thinking, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not for me to play poker for league because I like the game. I really loved it, and I think we both love this game because I mean the love that is what keeps us in this game. I mean,
Yeah.
because if it is not love in the game, I mean, I think I find another job or another hobby maybe. But yeah, and I was in the fence, and then I was thinking, okay, this is my dream. I want to like clear this up and try my best. And what way I can do my best and try this dream to come true. And the first thing was the stable. I was thinking I get the coaching, I get the bankroll, I can play the tournaments, just play, play, play. And I said for myself, I will give a 1 or 1.5 year the
Yeah.
chance to play professionally this game. And I was very happy. And I think, and I'm not thinking, I'm sure this is my best decision in my poker career that I got this stable because without the stable, I will not meet the people I met because the half the people we have a conference in the Discord. We then go to the living in Thailand in 1 year. We are hanging around, discussing hands. We are communicating. So for us, it was like a crazy, crazy experience, and I was very happy that I was in that stable. So I recommend if your dream is to come to poker player or to be a professional, I think it's the best way to like understand you have a chance in this industry or not. As again, if you don't think it that way, maybe it's just a hobby. It's a good thing too.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the stream where I can find is KO Poker LV. It's OptiBet Poker.
Okay.
Uh, so we're playing the party pokers mostly and other rooms. But doing 2 times in a month, I stream there. There's other Latvian guys who are streaming there, but usually I stream there a little bit less, but more like content. I'm more like content maker there. I'm not streaming my game, just I'm making some content and some. But usually I'm speaking in Latvian. But you say hi in English, I will happily say hi back you in English too. So there's no
Cool.
problem with that.
Nice. I think that's good too because like streaming while you're playing it makes it more difficult to just like play your game and do all the things you need to do. And also like it's exciting obviously if you get a run going, it's obviously exciting for people to be able to watch it. But in terms of like getting the most like value per minute watched, if you're putting content up on the stream, people are gonna get the most bang for their buck in terms of like the ROI on the minutes they put in studying because it's like you've isolated it to the most interesting hands, you've isolated it to the most valuable things. Whereas during like a live play session, you might get a couple interesting spots an hour or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's much more effective.
Yeah, it's always you have to find the balance because if you like playing only poker or not like making another content in your channel, usually it's always a problem because you people are used to get like fed up with your content. I mean, they see the same tournaments, same situations, and they like feeling like nothing's changing. Of course, there's some fans or the people who like your uh, how you can say it's better.
Like
They're happily to see you play, yeah. But sometimes people get bored,
yeah.
and not always your goal is to grow like your channel or grow the viewerships. It's not about that. I mean, the main goal you have to be is to make like good community.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's always be you have a good community, no toxic environment, no like bad people who are like a little bit cuckoo or crazy, and you have a good guys and good community, I think you're on the right track, because then you can build something,
Yeah.
not going for the viewerships, as I think.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I agree. That's why I try to keep it fresh. I try to keep it fun. I try to come up with like different segments that you know, people can participate in, because I see, you know, there are so many people streaming MTTs, and when I was like really heavily studying MTTs, I was doing that too, and I was like, man, it's so hard. And then I had a couple of nice scores and a couple of nice highlights, and then it's like, what's next, I'm like, well, I mean, the stress of trying to do this like week in, week out is quite high. So as it became like more saturated, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna let the MTT professionals do the streaming MTTs, and that's for them. And I'm gonna focus on just making something that's really fun. I always like doing home games, you know, like helping people get like a bankroll from nothing to get started, and then coming up with other segments where they can play with the streamer. So, you know, they're not going to get the same high stakes action here because I'm pretty rarely playing anything big. We'll take a shot once in a while, but that way it's at least it's fun, at least it's different. And you know, if people want to watch MTTs, there's plenty of people to watch. Like, I think we're gonna actually raid out to that channel you were talking about after here, and people can see that high stakes quality MTT stuff.
Yeah, I actually posted. I didn't ask your permission. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's SVpoker, our channel. Yeah, we stream there like daily. It's like 6 times a week. There's 4 streamers, guys. I usually stream there 2 or 3 times in a month. So it's like, for us, for me, it's a little bit flexible because I have a stable thing. I teach for Russian guys, for English guys.
Yeah.
So, actually, so if you want to go to our stable, we have our guys who we give like starting bankroll. They're playing, and you will get once a month from me the coaching session. I give you the pointers about the pre-flop ranges, the c-betting position, all the good stuff, all the main stuff you need to beat the pros or beat the MTTs in a low mid stakes. So yeah, and you will hear me once a month for sure, and you even can ask for individual training session with me, and we can rearrange it. So it's no problem with that. So yeah, that's our link. That's all the promotion I will do. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think, just to get it, well, there are more people here, I'm gonna very quickly rifle through the winners from our keyword giveaway. As long as I got this guy open, I have to see what tab I have in here.
And actually, I want to say thank you, the chat. Thank you, all the guys who came here, who asked the questions. I'm very happy that actually we made this stream, because I mean, it's a very cool collab that we made, I think.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it looks great. I think the information's great, and the highlights from the video will be very useful. So, all right, I got these 4 guys. I'm just gonna send them a whisper in case they're AFK, and we are gonna raid out to your channel so you guys can watch some live play. You can watch another one of the coaches in action, and if you guys are interested in more, you know, type that exclamation mark staking in the chat, click the link, go on there and check it out. I'll be back in a little bit, but for now, this was our Venom review with Robert, aka Stredson, and I learned a lot. Thanks a lot for coming on, Robert, taking the time.
My pleasure.
And, sharing all this great information.
Happy to be on the stream. Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay, we're gonna raid out, guys, and yeah, if you won, just send me a whisper, and I'll get all those tourney bucks sent out after the stream. We're gonna send a raid out, so enjoy the live action, guys, and we'll catch you on the next stream.
Bye bye.